I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, a physician in geriatric medicine and muscle physiology. For 25 years, I've helped older adults rebuild their strength, their rhythm, and their rest. If you're over 60, I want you to listen closely and see if this feels familiar. It's 2 or 3 in the morning. You wake up suddenly, your heart beating faster than it should, your mind already turning on. The house is quiet, the night's still, yet sleep won't return. You've tried the teas, the melatonin, the warm milk, maybe even a small pill when the night feels too long. And still, the hours stretch, and you wonder why rest no longer works the way it used to. It isn't failure, and it isn't age. Your body isn't refusing sleep. It's simply forgotten when it's safe to rest. Hormones fade, circulation slows, and the chemistry that once guided your nights drifts out of tune. But sometimes the answer isn't stronger medicine. It's something older, gentler. Ginger, a golden root that warms your blood, calms your nerves, and quietly reminds your body that the day is ending. Stay with me for a few calm minutes, because tonight you'll see how this simple root can help your body remember how to sleep again. When sleep stops working after 60, most people assume something inside has failed. The truth is usually softer. Sleep hasn't broken, it has drifted. With time, the body forgets its night rhythm, and the signals that once guided rest begin to blur. 3 quiet shifts do most of the work. First, the night hormones fade. Melatonin, the body's lights out message, arrives weaker and later. Vasopressin, the hormone that keeps the kidneys calm, declines as well, so the bladder speaks up sooner. Without those messengers, the system stays half on. The heart still working, the brain still scanning, the urge to get up appearing long before morning. It feels like insomnia, but it is often mistimed signaling. Second, circulation loses authority. Blood cools at the hands and feet while core temperature slips too early in the evening. True sleep begins when surface warmth moves inward and the center cools on schedule. That gradient is the body's clock. When timing reverses, cool at the surface, unsettled at the core, the brain reads mixed signals. You may get drowsy at the wrong hour, then wake sharply at 2 or 3 a.m., caught between day and night, never fully in either. Third, nighttime cortisol creeps upward. Cortisol is meant to rise with the sun to lift blood pressure, sharpen attention, and start the day. With age, light exposure, late meals, stress, and irregular routines can nudge it into the evening. Even a small excess keeps the nervous system on guard, raises heart rate just enough to feel unsafe, and blunts the deep wave of melatonin that ushers in consolidated sleep. The result isn't always dramatic. It is fragmentation. Brief awakenings, shallow cycles, mornings that feel like recovery rather than renewal. This is why pills so often disappoint. They can dim awareness, but they do not repair rhythm. The body wakes heavy, the chemistry unchanged, and the same pattern returns the next night. Real sleep is not forced, it is allowed. It begins when the brain trusts the body's signals, temperature falling in sequence, vessels open enough to move oxygen quietly, hormones arriving in the right order. Here is the hopeful part. Rhythm can be taught again. The nervous system still learns from gentle, repeated cues, warmth, light, movement, and timing. And this is where ginger belongs, not as a sedative, but as a guide. Ginger's natural warmth improves peripheral circulation, so heat can leave the surface on time. Its aromatic oils calm the vagus nerve, the quiet bridge between heart and brain, so heart rate drifts down instead of holding steady at daytime speed. As flow evens out, cortisol softens, and melatonin has room to rise without being crowded by stress chemistry. Years ago, in a traditional clinic overseas, I watched an elder physician end her workdays the same way. A small ritual of warmth at dusk. No drama, no prescriptions, simply a practiced signal that the day was closing. Observing that pattern made one lesson clear. After 60, the body reads rhythm through sensation more than schedule. When warmth is modest and timely, when breath slows, when blood moves without effort, the night begins on its own. So if your sleep has felt distant, consider rhythm before remedies. Reteach the sequence, open the vessels, quiet the heart, lower the light, and let chemistry follow. In the next section, we'll look at ginger's healing logic, how its compounds support circulation, calm stress signals, and help the body remember what safe, continuous sleep feels like. Now that we understand what pulls sleep apart, let's talk about what brings it back together. Not through force or medication, but through rhythm. And rhythm begins with warmth. In Eastern medicine, warmth is more than comfort. It is balance. For centuries, ginger has been known as a warming medicine, a root that opens the channels of circulation, softens the gut, and restores the body's natural sense of time. When warmth rises from within, the body interprets it as safety. The heart slows, the nerves loosen, the body exhales. Modern science now echoes what ancient healers intuited. Inside each slice of ginger are compounds called gingerols and shogaols, natural oils that gently stimulate blood flow, release nitric oxide, and dilate small vessels throughout the body. More oxygen reaches the brainstem and the heart. Inflammation eases. The inner temperature stabilizes instead of swinging between hot and cold. A 2021 study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology showed that daily ginger extract improved peripheral circulation and lowered inflammatory markers in adults over 60. Another trial in Frontiers in Nutrition, 2023, found that ginger tea taken before evening meals reduced cortisol levels and improved deep sleep duration in older participants. The findings were simple but profound. Gentle, consistent warmth reteaches the body how to rest. Chemically, the process is beautifully coordinated. As cortisol falls, the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch that governs relaxation, activates. Ginger's antioxidants calm the adrenal response, letting melatonin rise at the proper hour. Serotonin, the mood stabilizer and melatonin's precursor, increases naturally in the bloodstream. What once felt like stubborn insomnia slowly becomes a pattern again. Circulation first, calm second, sleep third. But science only explains the mechanism. What makes ginger powerful is its message. It doesn't push the body into sleep. It whispers safety through warmth. Each sip of ginger tea, each trace of heat across the chest, tells the nervous system, you are safe, you may let go. That is the quiet language of restoration. I've seen it many times in practice. Older adults who replace their nightly pills with a warm ritual, a cup of ginger infusion, a foot soak, or even a compress across the abdomen, didn't just fall asleep. They changed the tone of their nights. Rest returned not as exhaustion, but as renewal. Their pulse slowed, breathing deepened, and mornings began with steadiness instead of fog. This is the true logic of ginger. It bridges old and new, east and west. Traditional medicine called it moving the blood. Modern physiology calls it thermoregulation. Both describe the same truth, that warmth organizes chemistry. When temperature, blood flow, and breath align, hormones fall into sequence again, and sleep follows naturally. Because after 60, the body no longer obeys alarm clocks. It listens to cues, light, movement, and heat. And among these, warmth is the most human. It signals connection, safety, and home. So as we move forward, remember, ginger is not a treatment to be taken, but a signal to be practiced. In the next section, I'll show you 3 gentle ways to invite that warmth back, through the skin, through the cup, and through the heart, so your body can remember what true rest feels like. These are not treatments. They're signals. Each one tells your body a quiet message. It's safe to rest now. Because after 60, the body doesn't respond to orders. It responds to rhythm, gentle repetition, warmth, and familiarity. Let's start with the simplest, the one your body already understands. Warmth through the feet. Your feet are the first to feel cold and the last to warm, yet they hold the key to your body's entire rhythm. Every heartbeat sends blood downward, but the return, that quiet upward flow, depends on warmth, movement, and open vessels. When the feet are cold, blood stagnates. The nervous system reads that stillness as danger. But when warmth returns, something deeper happens. The body exhales. The pulse softens. The mind recognizes safety. You don't need anything complicated. Just a few slices of fresh ginger, a pot of water, and a little time for yourself. Slice 5 or 6 thin pieces. No need to peel them. and simmer gently for about 10 minutes. As the scent fills the air, pour that golden infusion into a basin of warm water. Add enough water to reach your ankles. The temperature should feel like late afternoon sunlight, soothing, never sharp. When you place your feet inside, pause for a moment. Feel the contrast, cool skin meeting warmth. That's your circulation waking up. Within minutes, tiny vessels begin to open, blood leaves the chest and travels outward, heart rate begins to drop. Your body is redistributing its attention from doing to healing. Stay there for 15 minutes. You may feel a gentle pulse behind the knees. That's your body remembering the old pathway of calm. If you wish, add one more layer. Touch. Dry your feet slowly, then take a small amount of sesame or olive oil and rub it between your palms to warm it. Begin at the ankles, tracing small circles, moving toward the arches in the toes. Don't rush. Think of it as teaching your skin the language of reassurance. The soles of your feet are rich with nerve endings that connect directly to your parasympathetic system, the branch that signals rest and digestion. Each gentle stroke tells your body, you are safe. The day is ending. This simple act does more than soothe the muscles. It quietly resets your body's temperature rhythm. For deep sleep to begin, your core temperature must drop while your surface warms. That's the natural signal your brain uses to release melatonin. But in many older adults, circulation to the feet weakens, and that signal never arrives. The body stays on alert even when you lie down. By warming the feet, you restore the missing link, the physical cue that says, night has come. One small observation. Many of my patients who began this nightly soak noticed their sleep changing within a week. They didn't describe drowsiness, they described permission. One woman told me that for the first time in years, her body felt quiet before sleep. That's what true rest is, not escape, but return. If your nights have felt broken or shallow, start here. No supplements, no screens, no rules, just warmth, water, and time. The ritual itself is the medicine. Repeat it at the same hour each evening, ideally before 8 p.m., when the body's temperature rhythm naturally begins to shift. You'll find that with each soak, the boundary between day and night becomes clearer. This is how ginger begins its work, not by sedating the mind, but by teaching the body to feel safe again. Because safety is the first step to sleep, and warmth is its oldest language. The second way to use ginger speaks through breath and scent, a quiet cup that steadies the heart and softens the mind. After the body learns warmth through the skin, the next signal comes through taste and breath. The slow ritual of tea. Chamomile and ginger have been paired for centuries, not by coincidence, but by intuition. One calms, the other directs. Chamomile soothes the nerves, while ginger opens circulation and restores rhythm beneath them. Together, they create warmth with balance, not the heavy calm of sedation, but the light calm of readiness. To make it, slice a few thin pieces of fresh ginger and let them simmer gently in water for 5 minutes. Add a teaspoon of dried chamomile flowers, or a tea bag if you prefer, and let them steep together another 5. The water will turn pale gold, carrying the scent of both roots and flowers. That aroma alone begins to slow the pulse. Your body recognizes it as familiar, safe, and kind. Before you drink, take a moment to hold the cup in both hands. Feel the warmth against your palms. The skin of the hands is rich with thermoreceptors connected to the vagus nerve, the quiet bridge between heart and brain. As the heat seeps in, that nerve sends a signal upward, telling the heart to slow and the breath to deepen. Already, chemistry begins to change. When you sip, do it slowly. Let each swallow feel like an exhale. No screens, no distractions, just the sound of your own breath matching the warmth inside the cup. This is how you teach the nervous system to unwind. Each sip lowers cortisol slightly, improves circulation, and allows oxygen to spread where tension once lived. Chamomile contributes its own science to this calm. It raises levels of glycine, a natural relaxant that cools the body just enough to trigger melatonin release. Ginger, meanwhile, enhances nitric oxide production, gently expanding the small vessels that carry warmth toward the surface. Together, they create the physiological cue your brain uses to say, it's time to rest. Drink this tea about 30 to 45 minutes after dinner, when digestion has settled, but before the body begins cooling for sleep. Keep the portion small. Half a cup is enough. Too much liquid late at night can interrupt rest, but a modest amount completes the rhythm. Some notice change within days. A steadier heartbeat, an easier breath, a sense that the night no longer requires effort. That is the nervous system finding trust again. Because rest doesn't come from exhaustion, it comes from permission. For an added softness, stir in a drop of honey or a slice of lemon peel. Not for sweetness, but for comfort. When warmth meets care, the body learns safety faster. This cup isn't a medicine, it's a signal. Ginger guides, chamomile steadies, and breath carries the message. The day is done, the body may let go. When you finish, stay still for a moment. Let your hands cool, let your chest settle. The night will do the rest. The third way to use ginger works deeper, through nourishment and repair. Because real rest doesn't begin in the mind, it begins where discomfort ends. When muscles ache, when joints feel stiff, when inflammation hums quietly beneath the skin, the body cannot fully release into sleep. This final ritual warms that tension from within, reminding your chemistry that night is a time for healing, not defense. You'll need only 3 ingredients: ginger, turmeric, and milk. Dairy or plant-based, whichever your body prefers. Grate half a teaspoon of fresh ginger and a quarter teaspoon of turmeric into a small pot. Add 1 cup of warm milk or almond milk, a touch of honey if you like, and a small pinch of black pepper to help absorption. Heat gently, stirring slowly, until the aroma softens and turns earthy. Never boil it. Warmth, not heat, is what we're after. As you stir, breathe in the steam. That scent carries more than comfort. It's chemistry in motion. Ginger's compounds, gingerols and shogaols, increase nitric oxide, which helps open small blood vessels and deliver oxygen to tired tissues. Turmeric's curcumin quiets the tiny flames of inflammation that build through the day. Together, they calm the body's alert system, easing pressure from joints and muscles that might otherwise wake you at 2 or 3 a.m. When you drink, take it slowly. Let it touch the tongue, the throat, the chest. Feel the warmth move outward, as if the body were exhaling from the inside. This is how the nervous system learns the pattern of rest. Warmth first, breath second, stillness third. The temperature shift tells your brain that the day's labor is finished. Many of my older patients describe this drink as an evening anchor. It gives the body a closing note, a signal that everything necessary has been done. One man in his 70s told me he hadn't slept more than 4 hours straight in years. After 2 weeks of this tonic, his nights began to lengthen. Not because of sedation, but because his pain had softened. His body finally trusted the quiet again. Drink it about an hour before bed, while lights are still low and the room feels calm. If you prefer a lighter version, replace milk with warm water and add a teaspoon of almond butter or a few crushed cashews for texture. The goal isn't fullness, it's warmth without burden, comfort without effort. Too much heaviness keeps the stomach busy when the brain is ready to rest. Turmeric and ginger together are more than anti-inflammatory. They're rhythmic. Turmeric cools where inflammation burns. Ginger warms where circulation stalls. They meet in the middle, balancing fire and flow, like sunrise and dusk folded into one cup. Across cultures, this same ritual appears in many forms. In India, families call it golden milk and drink it while the sky turns amber. In Japan, elders mix ginger tea with yuzu peel to ease the evening chill. And across the West, where routines grew louder and nights shorter, we are finally rediscovering that warmth is medicine. Not to force sleep, but to invite it. So take this tonic as a gesture, not a task. Let it mark the end of your day, the beginning of your body's restoration. As the cup empties, don't rush to bed. Sit for a minute. Let the heat fade from your palms and feel the heartbeat steady. The body is listening. And when it hears warmth, calm, and consistency, it remembers what to do. Because sleep isn't commanded, it's welcomed. And warmth, especially from something as humble as ginger, is the language that welcomes it home. Warmth heals, but too much warmth becomes heat. And even something as gentle as ginger follows the same rule. Balance matters more than quantity. For most adults over 60, ginger is safe and deeply supportive. Yet timing and moderation keep it from becoming stimulation. Use it during the early evening, between 7 and 8 p.m., when the body naturally begins to cool. At that hour, warmth helps the transition. It encourages blood to move outward and the nervous system to settle. But if taken too late, near bedtime, the same heat that once comforted can raise circulation and wake the heart again. Avoid ginger on an empty stomach first thing in the morning or right before lying down. Let at least 30 minutes pass after any heavy meal. And when using ginger in tea or tonic form, keep portions modest. One small cup is enough. A gentle signal works better than a flood. Those with active fever, uncontrolled diabetes, or open wounds should wait until recovery before using warming drinks or soaks. If you take blood thinners, talk with your physician before using large amounts daily. The goal here isn't medication, it's rhythm, and rhythm listens to how your body responds. Warmth, like sunlight, heals best in doses. A few minutes brings life. An hour brings fatigue. Respect that curve. Give your body warmth at dusk, rest at night, and cool air in the morning. This is how balance sustains itself, not by intensity, but by timing. As you finish this ritual, let the evening slow with you. The warmth from your cup or your soak doesn't just fade, it travels. It moves through your veins, quieting the pulse, whispering to every cell that the work of the day is done. This is how the body remembers safety. This is how night begins. If you've spent years fearing bedtime, waking at 2 a.m., lying still while thoughts race, know this: your body isn't broken. It's simply waiting for rhythm. Every act of warmth, every gentle repetition becomes a reminder of that rhythm. With each evening, the pattern grows stronger. Warmth to calm, calm to rest, rest to renewal. Try one of these practices tonight. Maybe the foot soak, maybe the tea, maybe the tonic. Choose what feels natural, not forced. These aren't cures, they're conversations. When you give your body warmth, it responds with trust. And trust is what sleep has always needed. If this message feels true for you, if you've ever felt your nights growing shorter and your mornings heavier, take a moment to support this space. Like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. You never know who might need that reminder tonight, that the body can still heal, that sleep can still return. And as always, I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for trusting your body's wisdom once again. Because your body remembers how to sleep. You just have to remind it.